Welcome back to my garden tour. Today, going to cover a section of my backyard that contains some of the roses with the forms and colors that many people are gravitating to these days. And first, just giving you an overview of what they look like, and then we'll take a look more in detail at each rose, and I'll tell you a couple of things about them. This first rose is Scentuous. It's a Tantau. It has just a perfect plant shape. See, relaxed without being droopy, and loaded with bloom. Just kind of a fairy tale sort of coloring to it. And Scentuous has that very delicate ruffling and delicate coloring to it. It has a very nice scent. Here we see just how it looks when mostly open, and some more clusters. One person has described it as being vanilla scented or bourbon scented. Anyways, complex and good scent on just a really beautiful, soft looking bush. And here's some more limonium or status. And we come across Eptide, doing fabulous this year. Eptide may be about over 4 feet across, but only 2.5 feet tall. See these various shades of plum and purple. The older blooms get darker as they age into this almost royal purple color, and the younger bloom more this reddish plum coloring. And you see just clusters of bloom everywhere. I think this year at least, or maybe perhaps overall, this has been my best of these deep purple roses. This is Tom Caruth's rose that followed Eptide that I also have, but I think I like Twilight Zone for the bigger plant and the bigger flowers and this ability to get almost royal purple in coloring. All right, now we have Constance, David Austin's wedding florist rose. What's interesting about Constance, see the almost a creamy center, stained with pink edges, and you kind of get a whole milieu of coloring in the cluster. Constance, very nice this spring. I was thinking it was a little small flowered last year. It has corrected that. These blooms are the largest ones, maybe about 4 inches across, so very nice. And you see again a very nice habit on Constance, very free flowering with blooms all over. Next up, gonna show you this rose, actually my only old garden rose in the garden, and this is Madame Issac Perriere. You see the blooms just kind of follow the horizontal cane. See if I can get that better for you. And this is a very big and vigorous rose. It just kind of weaves in and out of all the other roses around it. If you can believe it, this was a 1-gallon plant from Roses Unlimited last year, and now it must spread maybe about 12 to 14 feet in either direction and just blooms everywhere. Lives up to its reputation as being extremely well scented. It has that famous raspberry scent, very strong, very pleasant. Not much on repeat bloom, really more just this big, nice spring flush. Show you the plant from a different angle, and can't get the whole plant, but you know, just kind of everywhere. And next to Madame, we have this new climber, probably the nicest golden yellow climber I have ever seen. This is Tom Cruise's Golden Opportunity, and it is a very substantial bloom, maybe like 4 to 5 inches, many of them. And you see this very deep apricot gold color. Here is the young bud, you know, very refined, like a hybrid tea on a climber. And here is the mature bloom. See how much bigger Golden Opportunity is than Madame Issac, and the buds sometimes border on orange. I was super impressed with the repeat bloom on this one. It is almost without bloom. It just very bushy for a climber, with stems coming out of everywhere. And even as a first-year plant, I could just count on it, you know, almost always showing color, and just a super impressive new rose. This is Impressionist John Clement's rose, one of the most harmonious and interesting and distinct and beautiful color blends. You see some pink, some copper, some yellow, some orange, just works together all so well. Blooms maybe about 4 to 5 inches. Fragrance is decent, got sort of a myrrh scent. I think it has some Austin heritage in it. Always one of the roses that people compliment. The color just incredible. This is Handas Beauty. The blooms are uniformly very large and very high quality blooms, some of them over 5 inches, and just uniformly so nice. Color is a very, very soft peachy flesh tone. Look at this one, you could almost take it to a rose show. Got that pinpoint center and good symmetry and good size. And what's impressive is every bloom looks like this. Handas Beauty, I think I've had it maybe 2 years. After spring blooming, maybe 3.5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. So good sized rose with very nice growth, and just the overall terrific appearance, and also a strong scent. We are going to look at this group now of some especially refined looking varieties. First up, this is Beatrice, David Austin's rose. You see the very yellow in the beginning, and then lightening to creamy white as it ages. Beatrice, extremely ruffled in its bloom, and very thick petals. So unlike most of the Austins, Beatrice is going to last a long time. Here it is with ideal color and form. You see how deep that yellow is, and Beatrice lasts maybe a week in a vase. Does grow very upright. See here, it is stiff and straight up and down with the canes. And here we see that ruffling again. Now this rose blooms much better in spring than in summer. So far from what I've seen, hot weather seems to really slow it down and affect it. But still, I think I like this better than some of the softer petaled Austins. I think it holds up better for people with hot summer climates like mine. Next up, one of the most talked about roses in my garden. This is Juliet, David Austin rose, and just a beautiful symphony of pastel colors. You can see like the creams and apricots, and just all very light, but very vibrant. Always a nice cupped form with a very complex quartered sort of center, and very consistent on the quality. Juliet is an especially substantial bloom. By that I mean the petals are thick and the bloom is heavy. It is extremely long lasting. Also, an upright rose. One thing I discovered this year very pleasantly, it does have a moderate fragrance, a moderate kind of spicy scent. So I was very happy to find that, because it was not fragrant last year and certainly has improved this year. And just look at how gorgeous it looks. This is Hre Delbar. I am just amazed that something like this exists. The blooms are huge. Look at them. When they open, they can be over 5 inches across. The substance is like an exhibition hybrid tea. The form is like an old garden rose, but with broad, heavy petals. They come in the springtime, at least, one huge rose to a stem. Fragrance is just crazy good, strong, citrus and old rose. Hre Delbar is very long lasting. One thing about this rose, it is so vigorous. This was a band last year, and towards the end of the year, it was throwing out like 8-9 foot bamboo like canes that I had to really cut down to keep it in bounds. But the bloom just so unexpectedly incredible. Really recommend people grow this one. Here we have one of the most sought after Austins. This is Evelyn, and Evelyn is famous for these big, wide, saucer-like blooms, and they very often have these button centers that you can see here. And Evelyn just getting started. I actually rooted this plant out from my plant in Texas when I moved, and here you see a good example of the button center. Evelyn can eventually get quite tall and can be used as a climber. It is quite long lasting for a Austin rose, and it also has a terrific fragrance, a sort of a peachy apricot scent. I think that's one of the best aspects of this variety. You see mine, again, it was a cutting maybe 3 years ago. Now maybe just shy of 4 feet tall and maybe 2.5 feet across. I'm gonna try to train this thing as a climber when it matures. This is Masora, looking exceptionally refined this spring. Just look at these wonderful saucer-shaped blooms with their very complex centers and very, very petal-packed. Sora's blooms are very big this spring as well, in the 4 or 5 inch range. Here we have it in some better lighting. Sora does have a resemblance to Abe and Evelyn, all three of them wonderfully scented, but each one a different scent. It's a very rich tea scented variety. Hadn't been the best repeat bloomer for me in the past, so hopefully now that it's a little older, we'll see more of Sora in the summertime. And here's the neighbor, beautiful Lavender Crush, looking very lush this spring. I'm gonna try to show you the whole plant. But Lavender Crush is maybe 5 feet tall and about 6 or 7 feet wide. Showing some very nice color this spring. You see that again with many purple roses, the younger bloom has more of a plum shading, and then as it ages, you see more of this slate blue or purple suffusing the flower. Here you see the contrast very clearly in this lighting, and again in this duo of flowers here, and got some more clusters here. Lavender Crush, extremely fragrant, very strong lemon scent that is always present. One of my favorite climbers. Repeat is excellent. So you get this really unusual purplish flower with the white reverse on the buds. Get strong fragrance, good repeat. I think this is a must-have climber, at least in my garden. This is Thierry Marx, and the Japanese call this blueberry panna cotta. You can easily see why. It's got that kind of a bluish purple shading, violet in the center, and very, very deep cut indeed, you know, very much shaped like a panna cotta. Rather substantial bloom. It is a heavy bloom, good substance, long lasting, and maybe about 4 inches, but you know, considering how thick that panna cotta shape is, this is a heavy bloom. This rose I just got last year, and growing upright. Here's the whole plant just getting started, maybe about 3 feet tall, 2 feet wide, good foliage. And now we move into one of my oddest roses. Hopefully you see all this crazy undulation and the big button center. This is all for cherry blossoms. Rose from the Netherlands, from the VIP group, and extremely long lasting rose. This rose lasts like, I don't know, 3 weeks, almost a month in a vase, so just off the charts in that quality. The petals are thick and waxy. You can see sometimes there's a crazy proliferation in the middle, and on this bloom I think you can especially see just how, you know, undulated those petals are, undulated and thick in this also kind of odd kind of a pink shade. Not quite lavender. I don't know what you would call it. Plant is upright. Seems like it's going to be pretty strong growing. Maybe 2.5 feet tall, 1.5 feet wide. Not much in the fragrance department, but certainly wonderfully unique collector's rose. This is Blue Moonstone. Very unique looking. You see that almost like a ring of a lavender bluish coloring against a very, very pale base. This is a very fragrant rose, and new and young and small. Let me show you the whole plant. Progressing along nicely. It lightens almost to white as it ages. Fragrance is very good, as you might expect from a lavender rose. It's a citrus scent. Gonna be looking forward to seeing this one grow up. This is Red Eden. It has that perfect, cool, true red coloring, and very much that romantica form. Very long lasting rose. Unlike many of the newer reds, this one does definitely have a fragrance. It's like a moderate scent, maybe a tea rose scent. You see just coming into bloom right now, and very strongly colored and beautiful form. Blooms maybe about 3 inches across, maybe a little more than that. Mine is young, hasn't started climbing yet, but I have heard that the repeat on this is excellent, and even excellent in hot and humid climates. So really looking forward to this one maturing. Here's a new rose I've been really looking forward to. This is David Austin's Edith, kind of the wild child in those group of proper English roses. Here we have this basically yellow bloom streaked with kind of a pinkish orange color, and here we see it being strongly golden apricot blushed with pink. And this is what a cluster of the young plant looks like. And this is an older bloom. See, it lightens, and here it's mostly creamy yellow with just a little bit of pink at the edges. A very substantial flower. This largest bloom of Edith is 5 inches across. See if I can get the whole flower, it's kind of hiding. And very thickly petaled. I think it'll be very long lasting. It is a florist rose, so most of those are. And fragrance is strong myrrh scent, and this was a band maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, so very good progress. One of the roses I'm most looking forward to, and so far really living up to its promise. Edith. Here's a new rose for me. This is Towering Rose Magic Sora Emmanuel Cathedral Bells. Goes by a lot of names. I got this spring in one of those tiny plastic square sealed pots from Home Depot. I call them coffins. Not very good start usually for a rose, but this has come along just fine. It's just starting to open, and what I can say about this, it has a wonderfully complex herbal fragrance. You definitely get notes of lavender and myrrh in the scent, and looks like it's going to be a tall rose, probably why they call it Towering Rose Magic, and looking forward to seeing it grow and mature. This is Lady Emma Hamilton. Wonderful blend of soft, creamy tangerine and rose pink. Lady Emma Hamilton has a fantastic, strong citrus scent, one of the most fragrant and most consistently fragrant Austins. Now, this rose was down to just one little cane when I transplanted it and moved it, and now look at it. It is a very full, healthy bush, just getting started with the blooms, but I want you to see how ideal the shape of the plant is. It's compact, it's probably a little wider than it is tall. Overall, Lady Emma is one of the most attractive, just the whole plant and the flower and everything going well together. You can see even the young stem has this brownish red color and is very slender and straight. And here we go with another bloom, and beautiful reddish tinted buds here. One of my favorite Austins. I also think one of the best Austins if you live in a hot climate like I do. Surprisingly, it looks delicate, but holds itself pretty well in the heat. Finally, this is Abraham Darby. And this is what I think, ideally everything you want from an Austin, this has got it. The bloom is large, the fragrance is strong, it's a citrus scent, it is longer lasting than most Austins. You see the plant habit is just ideal, wide and gentle without being super droopy. Color is vibrant yet soft. Form is complex. Look at these soft apricot blooms, 4 to 5 inches across. Here's the younger flower showing a little bit more depth of color. What I also like about this rose is it blooms very heavy, repeats very fast. takes hot weather very, very well. So far, overall, I might think this is my best Austin. Abraham Darby.